Amazing. Max Oyster Bar.
One of my favorites.
Such a great place for any occasion.
Absolutely.
Every day, dinner, you name it. And there's something for everyone on the menu.
Paella.
Yum.
Marcy Jones, are they making you paella?
Hey, yes, they are. Look at this gorgeous skillet of paella right over here. The chef just whipped it up so easy. I am here with Brian Mitchell, beverage director. We've got a lot to cover.
We do.
And thank goodness we've got 6 minutes, right?
Yes.
Becky, producer in the booth, you're not going to cut me off? All right, so let's talk let's talk a little bit about the weather getting warmer. We want to have some fun dishes to share with everybody. Paella is one of those classics that it's just so fun. You dig in with your friends. You never really know what you're going to find because it's studded with all different types of delicious seafoods, right?
Yeah, it's the ultimate share plate.
Yeah.
You know, obviously a classic Spanish dish. You've got the rice base, but then you also have clams, mussels. There's scallops in here. There's a little bit of calamari, etc.
Wow.
So you got all of it mixed in there, and it's just great for summertime. Having it on the patio. And whatnot,
So I feel like with so many flavors, you're going to want to be smart about what you pair it with. So
Yeah.
what do you suggest?
So in Europe and places where this is traditionally served, you're going to have a lot of options when it comes to things like rosé,
Okay.
as well as even some red wines. And people
Yes.
often ask me, like, can you do red wine with seafood? Because it
know.
isn't white with white and red with red
Kind of like
thing.
one of those antiquated rules, like no white jeans after Labor Day. It's like, throw that out.
Sure.
You know what? Do
Absolutely.
whatever you want. A lot of red wines pair very well with seafood, especially something like this.
Yeah, and there's just a couple little guidelines. So when we talk about white wine with seafood, we talk about having acidity. So when we look at red wine with seafood, we also want to have some acidity.
Of course.
So great varieties like Pinot Noir and Tempranillo, which comes from Spain,
Okay.
has some acidity to it, and those are going to make great pairings.
It's got
for
a little
seafood dish
bite
like
that's
this.
going to stand up to all those flavors.
Absolutely. And it's not too heavy in the tannin. So the tannin is what really kind of conflicts with a lot of the lighter dishes. Because tannin is
interesting.
that solid, dry, astringent kind of aspect
Yes.
you get out of bigger reds.
Yes.
Having less of that is important. So a Pinot Noir with salmon or shrimp or tuna is a great pairing rather than, say, a big Cabernet or a Barolo, which is really kind
Okay.
of tight and heavy.
That makes a lot of sense. And then what do we have in our glass here? It's a beautiful color,
So
rosé.
it's springtime. Rosé, pink is the way to go. And I've got a couple examples up here.
Yep.
The first one is a Provence-style rosé, kind of the home of rosé, if you will. They're very light, very elegant style. Pink wines, rosé wines, and the thing to remember about these is that they are basically dry. They're clean, they're crisp, and they're dry. They're not sweet. There are sweet versions of pink wine
Right.
out there, but these are not blush. These are not.
I feel like you can almost spot them from a mile away just
Yeah.
because of that light blush color
It's
that they
a
have.
little bit lighter. This
Yeah.
is what we call like a salmon or something, and it implies that there isn't a lot of skin contact with these wines,
Right.
Because they are made from red grapes,
Yeah.
and so it's just nice and light and clean and fresh. But that apple, that watermelon, that strawberry kind of
Yes,
flavor.
I was just going to say, when I smell it, it smells like a fruit salad, but in such a fragrant way, not an overly fruity, sweet way. It's just, it's a
Absolutely.
lovely bouquet.
And it also has the acidity, which is what we talk about. So that bouquet, the acidity, and when you look at a dish like paella that's got paprika and spices and
Right.
saffron in it, a wine like this is actually going to work really well versus a lighter white wine that's
Yes.
not going to necessarily be able to stand up to that.
I feel like it's strong enough to match the flavors, but not strong enough to overpower it.
100%, yeah.
I
You
love
want
that.
complementary flavors, not one standing over
Yes.
the other. Yep.
Talking about complementary, we want to explain a little bit about some of these buckets that we have up here. You've got a really cool, sustainable recycling program. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we work with this organization called CORR, C-O-R-R, and it stands for the collection of oysters for recycling. And basically
Okay.
what we're doing is we are taking all of the oyster shells. You know, we sell thousands of oysters every week,
Right.
and we collect those shells. And instead of them going into the trash, into the landfill, we have this organization that we work with where the shells are collected and then they're put back into the oyster beds. And you got to remember, oysters are kind of like the ocean's filter,
Okay.
and it's really important for them to be there. And without the shells naturally falling down to the bottom of the ocean and collecting, there isn't that sort of calcium bed and the shell bed that builds up on the bottom.
I know that. That's so
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's a way to kind of take the farming full circle, because if you take the oysters out, which is what we're doing
Right.
through farming, their shells are not going back into the ocean. So
Yes.
this is a way to put that back, build the beds up, and maintain that ecosystem
Yes.
up in the coastlines where these farms are.
Now, Brian, you're not braggadocious, but you do have a lot of things to be proud of here. You just won a couple of awards.
Yep.
You've got a lot of events coming up. Share some with us.
Yeah, so the awards that we've won, a couple of things, we can't really mention the publications, but Best Oyster Bar and
Nice.
Best Seafood Restaurant. So we're really proud of that. You know, we've been here for 25 years
Yeah.
now. We work really hard every every day to kind of make sure that we're maintaining our standards and putting out these dishes and the program that we have and our staff and everything is really what we work for. We've still got staff on hand that have been here throughout that 25 years.
And I don't think you could come up with a better compliment to how you guys all work together here, because people don't want to leave.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you mentioned the events. We work really hard to make sure that even in like maybe a little bit slower night or just to kind of keep our customers engaged with something different. Our lunch club event, which we're going on like 13 years now.
Yeah, tell us about Lunch Club.
Lunch Club, we got one coming up Friday. It is an event we do basically every 2 weeks. It's a mini wine dinner, but we do it at lunch.
Okay.
And it's on Fridays, and it's a great value. I work really hard to kind of put the schedule together all year round and have interesting folks from wineries and import companies and things like that come and really kind of work with the food and the chef to come up with some creative things. And
I feel like it's a cool event too to meet other people who are interested in food, wine as well. You can
100%.
network a little bit.
Well, you can definitely do that. I think one of the exciting things is with Chef Matt, who's been here for a number of years, he gets to kind of experiment and play with different cuisines and different cultural kind of impacts on the food and the wine aspect, because and so he can kind of create his and explore his artistic side in his culinary programs, and it's an awesome opportunity for our guests to come in and experience that. We have so many regulars that come back every single time. It kind of gets hard to get a seat sometimes because we sell out pretty quick. So
well, you're popular for a reason. We're lucky to be with you. Thank you so much, Brian. Happy Wine Wednesday. Sending it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Marcy. Say hi to Brian for us.
Come in anytime.
Thank you.
Brian says you can come in at any time, no expiration date.
Thank you.